Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're setting our sights on something we've all probably dreamt of, free cruises.
Free cruises, who doesn't love those?
Right, and specifically, we're looking at Royal Caribbean. We found this fascinating YouTube video by a self-proclaimed expert.
Oh,
Yeah, they claim to have sailed over 200 times.
wow.
Yeah, and get this, almost all of those cruises were free.
Now that's impressive. 200 cruises, mostly free. There's got to be a story there.
Exactly. That's what we're diving into today. This expert says they've cracked the code of Royal Caribbean's casino loyalty program, Club Royale.
Ah, the casino. I'm sensing this might be a bit more complicated than just booking a cruise and hoping for the best.
You got it. It's all about strategy, apparently. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of this YouTuber system, I'd love to get your take on these casino loyalty programs in general.
Sure thing.
Like, what's the whole point? Why do casinos even bother with them?
Well, at the heart of it, it's all about psychology and business.
Okay, how so?
For casinos, these programs are a brilliant way to, well, keep people coming back.
Makes sense. The more you play, the more you benefit, so you're more likely to choose that casino again.
Exactly. It's all about incentivizing spending and building customer loyalty. They want to make you feel valued, like you're part of an exclusive club.
And for the players, it's obviously about those perks, right? Free stuff, discounts, maybe even those elusive free cruises.
Absolutely. The perks are definitely a major draw, but it's also about the gamification of the experience.
Gamification.
Yeah, think of it like leveling up in a video game.
Ah, I see. You earn points, unlock new tiers, get access to better rewards. It's like a game within a game.
Exactly. It taps into our natural desire for achievement and rewards. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good challenge?
So this Royal Caribbean Club Royale, it works on a tiered system, right?
That's right. They have 4 tiers: Choice, Prime, Signature, and Masters. Each tier comes with its own set of benefits, increasing in value as you climb the ladder.
So tell me about those tiers. How do you actually, move up the ranks?
Well, it all comes down to points. You earn them by, you guessed it, gambling.
Right, so slots, table games, that sort of thing.
Precisely. And here's where it gets a little interesting. There are actually 2 types of points to keep in mind. You have your cruise points and your tier points.
2 types. Okay, I'm already feeling a little lost. Break it down for me. What's the difference?
So cruise points are what you earn on each individual sailing. You can use them for those instant rewards we talked about, discounts, free play, onboard credits, even upgrades sometimes.
It's kind of like spending cash as you go.
Exactly. Now, tier points, those are the ones that determine your overall status in the program. They accumulate throughout the year, regardless of which ship you're on.
Got it. So cruise points are for immediate gratification on each cruise, and tier points are for climbing that loyalty ladder.
You got it. It's like a balancing act. You're trying to maximize your benefits on each cruise while also working toward those long-term perks of the higher tiers.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, tell me, how do you actually earn these points? Is it like a dollar for dollar thing, or is it more complicated than that?
It depends on how you're playing. For slots, it's pretty straightforward. $5 played equals 1 point for both cruise points and tier points.
So basically, the more you spin, the more points you rack up.
Exactly. Table games are a bit trickier, though. The point system varies depending on the game, your bet size, and even how long you play.
So it's not as simple as just throwing down a bunch of chips and hoping for the best.
Not quite. There's a bit more strategy involved when it comes to maximizing your points at the tables, but that's a whole other deep dive, maybe for another time.
Definitely something to explore further. But let's stick with this YouTuber for now. You mentioned they're a master's level player, right?
Right.
That's the highest tier, isn't it?
It is. Top of the loyalty food chain. They claim to earn something like 1,000 tier points per hour playing high-stakes roulette.
1,000 points an hour. That's some serious dedication and probably a pretty hefty bankroll.
Oh yeah, it's not for the faint of heart.
Makes you wonder what kind of perks you get at that level to justify that kind of commitment.
Oh, the master's level perks. Now those are something else. We're talking priority boarding, access to exclusive restaurants, onboard credit on every cruise, and even a complimentary grand suite every year.
Wow, a free suite every year. That's living the high life at sea.
Absolutely, but remember, that's the pinnacle. Most of us start at the bottom, the choice tier, and work our way up.
So let's talk about those lower tiers.
Yeah.
What do you get at the, let's say, prime and signature levels?
Well, Prime members get complimentary drinks in the casino. Always a nice perk.
Yeah, those drink prices can add up.
Absolutely. Plus, you get to skip that annoying 5% fee for cashing out at the tables.
Okay, not bad. And what about Signature? What bumps it up to the next level?
Signature is where things start to get really sweet. You get free internet.
Ah, the holy grail of cruising.
Right. No more paying exorbitant fees to stay connected. And you get an invitation to a special annual event cruise.
An exclusive cruise just for Signature members. That sounds pretty amazing.
It does, doesn't it? It's like a whole other level of cruising experience.
Yeah, like you're part of a secret society. But let's get back to this YouTuber and their free cruise strategy.
Okay, back to the nitty-gritty.
So one thing they mentioned was turning $75 in free play into $175 cash using some kind of roulette strategy.
Roulette, huh? Sounds risky.
It does, right? Now, I'm not much of a gambler myself, but even I know roulette can be pretty unpredictable. So how is that even possible? Is there some kind of like casino magic trick they're not telling us about?
No magic, but there is strategy involved. From what they described, it sounds like they're using a method that involves covering a large portion of the roulette table with bets.
So instead of betting on just one number, they're spreading their chips around.
Exactly. The idea is to increase the probability of winning on each spin.
So it's all about playing the odds.
In a way, yes. They claim this strategy gives them a 79% win probability.
79%. That sounds pretty good. But I guess even with those odds, there's still that 21% chance of losing her.
Exactly. That's the thing about gambling. There's always risk involved. The YouTuber emphasized something called expected value.
That's a really good point. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the game and forget about the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And speaking of the bigger picture, remember how we talked about those two types of points?
Cruise points and tier points.
Right. Well, there's another little detail the YouTuber mentioned that's worth highlighting. Your cruise points. Those actually reset after each sailing.
Wait, so you lose all those points you earned during the cruise?
For the instant rewards, yes. Those perks you unlock with cruise points have to be used on board.
So you can't bank them for a future cruise.
Nope. They expire at the end of each sailing.
That's kind of a bummer.
It is. But on the bright side, your tier points, the ones that determine your overall status, those accumulate throughout the entire year.
So it's like you're constantly earning and spending cruise points on each cruise while simultaneously doling towards a higher tier for those longer-term benefits.
Exactly. You got it.
It's a lot to keep track of.
It definitely adds a layer of complexity to the whole thing.
It makes you wonder if all that effort is really worth it.
Well, that's what we're here to find out. We're going to unpack this YouTuber strategy, analyze those instant rewards, and see if those free cruises are truly attainable.
Okay, so stay tuned, everyone, because we're about to get into the nitty-gritty of how to turn casino play into a free cruise vacation. Okay, so those instant rewards sound intriguing.
They can be.
What exactly can you get with those cruise points? Like, you're on the ship, you're earning points. What can you actually redeem them for?
Oh, all sorts of things. They have this whole catalog of instant rewards, starting with discounts on like drinks or spa treatments.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, basic stuff. But as you rack up more cruise points, you can unlock things like free play at the casino, onboard credit to spend however you like.
Ooh, onboard credit. That's always useful.
Right. And sometimes you can even snag a balcony upgrade.
A balcony upgrade. Now,
Oh.
that's tempting.
Right. It's all about finding those little ways to enhance your cruise experience.
And make those cruise points work for you.
Exactly. And here's a pro tip for you. If you book your next cruise while you're on board, you often get what they call an onboard booking bonus.
Like what? More points.
Often, yeah. Or sometimes even more free play.
So it's like a bonus on top of a bonus.
Exactly. It's like a mini game within the larger loyalty program,
You're strategizing to maximize your perks on each cruise.
while still keeping an eye on that long-term tier point progress.
Yeah. It sounds kind of complicated, though, keeping track of all that.
It does add a layer of complexity, but that's part of the fun, isn't it?
I guess so.
Hmm.
Keeps things interesting.
And speaking of interesting, the YouTuber we're looking at today, they pointed out another cool thing about Club Royale.
Oh, what's that?
Even at the entry-level choice tier, you can get personalized offers directly from Royal Caribbean.
Really? So
Yeah.
even if you're not a high roller,
Yeah,
there's still potential to get some good deals.
absolutely. They'll send you offers for discounted cruises, free play, onboard credits, all sorts of things.
So just by being a member, you're on their radar for special offers.
Exactly. It's all part of their strategy to keep players engaged.
I bet those offers probably get even better as you climb the tiers, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. The higher your tier, the more personalized and enticing those offers become.
It makes sense. They want to reward their most loyal players.
Exactly. It's all about building that long-term relationship.
Okay, so we've talked about the perks, the tiers, the point system.
Right.
Let's get back to that roulette strategy for a moment.
Okay, the 79% win probability strategy.
Yeah, the one the YouTuber claims to use to turn free play into cash.
Right.
It sounds impressive, but as we discussed, there's always a risk.
Always a risk, yeah.
So for anyone listening who might be thinking of trying this out on their next cruise, what are some things to keep in mind?
Well, first and foremost, discipline is key.
Discipline,
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the casino.
especially when you're on vacation.
Exactly. The atmosphere is so festive, everyone's having fun. But remember, it's called gaming for a reason.
Right, it's supposed to be entertainment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Approach it with a playful mindset.
Don't go in with the expectation that you'll get rich quick.
Exactly. And never gamble with money you can't afford to lose.
It's so important.
The YouTuber was adamant about setting a budget and sticking to it.
That's a good rule of thumb for anything, really.
Whether you're winning or losing, stay within your limits.
And know when to walk away.
Absolutely. Speaking of walking away, let's address the, maybe the elephant in the room here.
Oh, what's that?
This YouTuber's claim about turning free play into cash.
Yeah.
While their roulette strategy might sound tempting,
It does, I'll admit.
you have to remember that the house always has an edge.
Meaning,
Their success doesn't guarantee yours.
so while it's possible to turn free play into cash,
It's not a guaranteed thing.
it takes strategy, luck, and a healthy dose of caution.
Precisely. Go in with realistic expectations.
Don't view it as a get-rich-quick scheme,
Think of it more as a way to extend your entertainment budget.
and maybe score some extra perks along the way.
Exactly. And don't forget the overall value proposition.
Right, the free cruises, the perks, the experience itself.
Even if you don't win big at the casino,
The value of those things should outweigh the cost.
it's about finding that sweet spot where you're having fun, reaping the rewards.
And staying within your comfort zone.
That's a great way to put it. Finding that balance is key.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have points, tiers, strategies.
It's a lot to take in.
But hopefully it's given our listeners a good overview of how this whole Club Royale thing works.
And maybe even inspired them to give it a try on their next cruise.
Who knows? Maybe they'll become the next Club Royale master.
Or at least come back with some fun stories to tell.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right?
Having fun and making the most of your vacation.
Absolutely. But before we wrap up, I did want to circle back to those tier points for a moment.
Oh yeah, the ones that determine your overall status.
Right, we've talked about the perks at each level.
But for those listeners who are really aiming for that master's level status,
Yeah, the ultimate goal,
what kind of dedication does that really require?
like, is it even attainable for the average cruiser?
Or is it like a pipe dream reserved for those high rollers we hear about?
It's definitely a commitment. 100,000 tier points, that's a serious amount of casino play.
Yeah, it's not something you achieve overnight.
Not at all. It takes time, consistent play, strategic betting.
And probably a bit of luck too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Luck always plays a factor.
So it sounds like reaching master's level is more of a lifestyle choice than just a casual hobby.
I'd say so. It requires a level of dedication that most average cruisers probably aren't willing or able to commit to.
But even if master's level is out of reach for most of us,
Right.
there's still a lot to be gained from understanding the system,
Absolutely.
like playing the game strategically, even at the lower tiers.
Exactly. Even if you're not aiming for the top,
Right.
understanding how Club Royale works can help you maximize your cruise experience
It's about knowing the rules of the game.
and using them to your advantage.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, it's about recognizing the value proposition,
Making informed decisions.
having fun along the way.
And maybe, just maybe, scoring a free cruise or two.
Who knows? So for our listeners who are now thinking about their next cruise,
Right.
is it worth it to, dip their toes into the casino waters and try their luck at Club Royale?
That's a tough one. It really depends on the individual.
Yeah, like their risk tolerance, how much they're comfortable spending.
Exactly. And their overall goals for the vacation.
Are they going for relaxation or are they looking for a bit of a thrill?
Right. But I think with the information we've covered today,
They're definitely more equipped to make an informed decision.
absolutely. They know the ins and outs of the program.
The potential rewards and the risks involved.
So they can weigh their options and choose what's right for them.
It's all about personal choice.
Exactly. And hopefully we've demystified the whole process a bit.
Yeah, this deep dive has given us all a peek behind the curtain of casino loyalty programs.
We've explored the mechanics, the strategies,
Those enticing rewards.
and those ever-present risks.
But the real question is,
How will you play the game?
will you go all in and try to climb the ranks of Club Royale?
Or maybe just enjoy the casino as a form of entertainment.
The choice is yours.
But no matter how you choose to play,
Remember to have fun, stay responsible, and savor every moment of your cruise adventure.
exactly. Enjoy the journey, not just the destination.
Well said. And who knows, maybe we'll hear from some of our listeners about their own Club Royale triumphs.
Or maybe even a funny mishap or two.
Oh, I'm sure there are plenty of those out there.
Cruising in casinos, it's a recipe for adventure.
Absolutely. Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into Royal Caribbean's Club Royale.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
Likewise. And to all our listeners out there,
Happy cruising.
may your seas be calm, your drinks be cold, and your casino wins be plentiful.
Cheers to that.